Hello everyone, Brian's here. Small disclaimer, this is by no means a truth, me telling you that this is the only way to do things. I'm just sharing my art progression and then share what I wish I knew when I started, at least in the first year. Okay, so 2012, before that as well, is when I was drawing on and off. I recall this year was using a book called Betty Atwood's, drawing on the right side of the ring, which I think is a really waste of time. Books like Five Keys to Drawing will have been a much better book to purchase. Well, anyway, nonetheless, I was drawing more in symbols. I had no idea about perspective, forms, or shape, even though I was trying to attempt to do that here, as you can see. This was trying to do cylinders. I think during this time, I'm not sure if Hampton existed. Oh, I think this was Hampton actually. I think it was Hampton. Anyway, during this year, yeah, I was running on and off. A little bit of perspective, Luffy. And 2014 is where I started practicing more seriously. The whole concept for me this year was like learning about gesture drawing, right? Animal, insects, all those kind of jazz. Still trying to learn perspective. I wasn't doing it as much as often as I should, which has also been suggested a lot on forums. But despite all the suggestions, I just ignored all the advice as usual. And I still do. Well, to an extent, of course, unless I specifically ask the person. That's the kind of advice I do follow, right? And here is like me trying to do bowlings and stuff. I'm still trying to do gestures. Here's where I try to get into the whole idea or the whole concept of relative measuring. However, you can Google Dorian item accuracy, right? This here. You then find the whole concept of measuring. These were the artists I copied from during these years: Steve Houston, Carginas, Chris Legacy, Michael Hampton, Glenn Vilpo, Jeff Watts, Perko, Kevin Cheng, drawing tutorials online, Michael D. Matassi, and Ryan Woodward, right? It's also the year I got into digital, but then the tablet broke. Here's an attempt to Rowley method, right? And yeah, so this festival 2016 is where I started to get into landscape. I was like, I'm interested in landscape painting, even though I never went outside to actually paint a damn landscape. How cool of you, Brian, right? I even tried to draw trees, but mainly from reference. Glorious, instead of drawing outside. Yeah, still don't draw outside as often. Barely, actually. Here's an attempt at 3D, low poly stuff. I don't remember this artist's name. I'm not sure why I have twice in here. Actually, wait. It's the same dude. I really love these shadow usage and stuff, like shadow shapes or shapes in general. Vector illustration or attempt to. Trying to do the same thing here. Here's like Let's Make Shapes is the project where I see Let's Make Shapes. You will have to Google it to find more about it. But one key thing definitely is from Anthony Jones. One key thing definitely would be I always were intrigued by gestures and abstractness, abstract and gestures. I'm not sure what the heck's going on with this head here. Lost in proportion, like, oh my gosh, no. This one I really enjoyed the whole thing, or the whole creation here. It's really fun to do them. Fun exploration here. Yeah, I think it's also pretty fun to do. It's like trying to do a game map design, which I didn't end up as, yeah, I did get a commission work, somewhat in the same alley like this, but the project ended up not continuing. The person disappeared, as usual, is what happens, But I did get paid, however, for what I did, so that's a plus sign. That was the sign or the way I earn at least a little bit from my own creations rather than doing really mundane work per se. But from what I noticed throughout my progression, I always come back or gravitate towards more shape-based things. As you can see here, like I really enjoyed designing these, as well as this, like these helm designs. Like I always go back to more shape-based stuff. That was like my main stronger area compared to painting stuff, where someone saw these designs and was like, why not try to paint the same way as I'm doing these designs, because these are not well. So I did indeed, which I enjoyed. So let me just open that real quickly. The process of drawing. So this was my first attempt to that, to draw or to paint with shapes. This was done with pen tool. Like I shaped it in and then painted on top or inside of the shape with soft brush. You can see it better here because this one I started like this was a recent one where I attempted to do that much more in depth, which you can see here, the process of it. But to go back then to the creations, so this is where what I aspire to be now. These three artists, this one, I think I'm just gonna remove it, right? Just remove that. So these three artists, you have Loish. Let's see, Loish, Tomas Estepanian, and Robbie Trevino. What I liked about all three, for one, Loish, is she uses a lot of gesture and flow in her work, like, and her colors are always so spot on. Like there's just a little bit of it, but it's still so lovely to look at, right? And that's like something I want to definitely incorporate into my works. Like these three illustrations, I think I have them on any board actually. Yeah, these three illustrations is me trying to attempt to do these things, but of course not the area. This being the recent ones, just it. And what I liked about Robbie Trevino is he uses anatomy and also has like really dynamic perspective for his stuff and incorporates a lot of different concepts. Like you don't often see these kind of world buildings or these weird creations in nowadays stuff, right? This is awesome perspective, really cool stuff. Look at this, And then there is Tomas Estepanian. The way he draws and manipulates anatomy as well is just fascinating to look at, which makes me think back of what Marko Djurdjevic talked about anatomy. You probably will find anatomy on YouTube. You will find some videos of him, and yeah, so that's like the direction I'm aspiring to be. It's really weird drawings, like years, like some attempts of me trying to do that. So you can see, actually, not that one. This one was this one, I think. Here, like somewhat of a semi-attempt of that, it's still not perfect. I think I have a few more. Let's see, like these drawings here. Let's see, imagination. Is it this one? If I have it better here. Yeah, these drawings, you probably saw it already. Probably have them. No. Well, somewhat, yeah, can explore that. Yeah, it's just an R1. These are the things. And also where I can see me trying to attempt the whole lowish stuff, the whole flow stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm aspiring to be. So what are the things I wish I knew when I started like this, and why? Number one, don't throw away your drawings. Why? Because the drawings are your timestamp, or is like ways for you to go back in time and see how much you have progressed. So by throwing it away, unless you have a save on cloud, which I did, but I also deleted my account, which is also stupid of me. I think I was dealing with self-confidence issues during that time as well. I threw them away, I deleted the account, and yeah, I lost all of my drawings, at least before 2015, and also 2016 to 2018, right? or 2017 to solve some of my 2018s. Number two, learn perspective early. I think it goes hand in hand with this though. Learn perspective early, but also learn to draw forms. I think drawing forms come first before perspective, because when you know at least the basic understanding of forms, then you can start setting them into perspective. But if you don't know how to do perspective nor forms, you first have to learn how to do lines and shapes. And some people that comes to mind for learning this nowadays will be Drawbox. It's a really cool website that is built structurally. And there's Peter Han, the student or the person of Drawbox was a student of Peter Han. He also studied from Scott Robinson, which is a good book from Scott about perspective, or how to draw things in perspective in different lenses. However, for me, when it comes to perspective, I started with this book. Really, it's really a simpler way of understanding perspective, because Scott goes really complex with it. But if you can go through the book, it's a good one as well. Number four, have a goal, study with purpose. As you saw from my timeline, I was really studying indiscriminately, if that's even a way to put it. Like, I was studying different things at a time, you know. And I think if I had a goal, I would have improved much quicker, right? So by having goals or having specific reasons why you want to learn perspective, understanding the why behind it will allow you to go through the whole process of learning the skill. And some of the websites that I use as well for practicing is Sketchfab, right? Which is a website with reading models. And what I mean with studying with purpose as well would be like breaking things down now, right? I try to understand what exactly I'm drawing now, and then draw it on the side multiple times to understand the color concept. Like, these are still not correct. I'm still not understanding where to place or how the app system work, you know? And yeah. And then lastly, consistent practice, however, with application. If you don't apply what you learn, you want to know where you lack, you know? And that's one thing I did a lot from 2014 to fast forward to 2019 February or March. Well, actually February, yeah. I was just drawing for the sake of drawing, studying for the sake of studying, but without applying anything to any of my own work, which resulted into me not seeing the errors I was doing, you know. And yeah, so these are the things I wish I knew, or I wish I would told myself early when I started. And yeah, if you have your own insight, feel free. Remember, these are not like only truths. I like the only way to learn. This was just my progression throughout the time, you know. And I will go more in depth about how I study now in other videos. But for now, I shall leave you guys with this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.